The next era of Halo, the Infinite Saga as people are calling it, the new main faction to the Halo franchise, the Banished, first introduced in Halo Wars 2, now Infinite. Halo Wars 2, perfect introduction, but when Infinite came out, it disappoints. Now, when Halo Infinite first released, it was exciting because they played the nostalgia train. They redesigned everything to look like Bungie era designs. Now, living in the moment of that, it was completely fine. But now, in retrospective and looking towards the future, the Banished needs change. But before we get further into that, a brief history of the Banished. I'm not a lore expert. I don't know all the gritty details. I only know general topic. I only know the general idea and topic. Surprisingly, I still have a life outside of this. So back during the Human Covenant War, one brutish monkey boy decided, hey, I don't like this Covenant shit no more, and decided to rebel. This rebellion inspired others, and so after a bunch of pirating shit of the Covenant, and now building up to the modern times, became one of the strongest factions in Halo. This was all explained in Halo Wars 2. But now, after that, we can talk about Halo Infinite. Now, before we get into reasons why Halo Infinite disappoints me with the Banished, let's talk about some good things. Number one, the art style and design of the structures, vehicles, a little bit of weapons, and the armor. They look great. They look very unique, and it's recognizable from Covenant, Promethean, UNSC, so it's unique, which is good. So basically, Halo Infinite successfully captured the aesthetic and art style Halo Wars 2 started. But now, with that being said, there are a few things I wish Halo Infinite did better. Now, given that the Banished were introduced in a top-down strategy game, that means they probably had a lot of creative freedom, leading to a very unique designs for the Banished. And when Halo Infinite came out, you could probably say that they were just focused on redesigning the enemies to appeal to nostalgia. And that's not saying that's a bad thing. They were just so focused on that, they kinda let down on the whole Banished thing. So what do I mean by that is 80% of the enemies that you fight in Halo Infinite are not distinct from the Covenant. Especially the elites are just a copy-paste ranks in the Covenant. Even the brutes, lower rank brutes, and also the grunts. Now most of them look like Covenant grunts, but there is one specific kind of grunt, the grunt mule, which is a banished Pacific rank. Halo Infinite, recall, only contains two new Pacific ranks, the brute berserkers and the grunt mules. These are specifically towards the Banished, and I love that idea. The enemies that you fight in Halo Infinite are too reminiscent of the Covenant. When you fight them, you don't immediately think Banished. The only reason you think of Banished is the occasional berserking brutes and the already atmosphere that you fight them in. If you fight them in Covenant atmosphere, like a bunch of Forge World had put them in, it's just a Covenant. So the problem I have with that is it doesn't feel unique enough to me to signify this is a new faction. And also, I have a problem with the brutes themselves. There's a whole video why I don't really like brutes, but basically for Halo Infinite's problem, lower ranking brutes are so boring to fight. Upper ranking brutes are perfect. They're completely fine. They're fun to fight, but the lower ranking brutes are boring to fight. They are too easy to kill with precision weapons. A burst of the BR can kill them, and that is it. Where are the original brute weapons? In the Bungie era, there were three specific brute weapons: the gravity hammer, the brute shot, and the spiker. You want to guess how many of those three made it to Halo Infinite? Keep in mind, Halo Infinite, which focuses on a brute-led faction, one of those weapons made it. Now, you could probably argue that Halo Infinite introduced new weapons for the Banished too, like the shock weapons and the Ravager skewer, and the upcoming, like, what is it called? I don't know, double barrel gravity hammer gun. Yeah, those are alright, especially the double barrel, but whatever the hell is my spiker and brute shot? Also, there's only one brute vehicle, which is the, what is it called? I forgot. Chopper, which sucks to drive. I hate driving that vehicle. I won't get too much into the story because Honestly, kind of too dumb to really analyze that part, but all I'm saying is having Escharum as a big baddie and him acting like Bowser, it didn't really hit that well. Killing off Aatrox in the beginning didn't hit that well. During Halo Infinite, it didn't feel like a war story. It felt like, oh, this is a Master Chief story because how linear the story was. The quote-unquote villains of Halo Infinite are so linear, and when you beat the game, it really feels like the Banished are just done for already, because it's portrayed in the campaign that you have killed every high-ranking unit in that part of the ring. So who else is there to fight? So that's my problem. And now for the very last thing I'll say about Halo Infinite is its multiplayer side. Halo Infinite has been and is continuing to push Banished-styled armor sets for the store and its operations. Now, they're cool. They look cool. It's really cool. But there's so much where the Banished itself is starting to lose its charm, because when I think of the Banished now, I think of the Spartan armor and not actually the Banished. The Banished themselves is losing charm because of all the armor sets. So now that we're looking towards the future, I want to share my ideas of how the next Halo game could improve upon the Banished. So firstly, we're going to talk about the enemies. Redesign them. I have two separate ideas with this. One, redesign lower ranking units to have more Banished styled armors so it can be more distinct from the Covenant. For example, like in Halo Wars 2, you can see background brutes. They still have unique looking armor. I want that, and I especially want that for other species, especially the elites. I really want to see a common Banished armored elite that's not a boss. I think it'll be really cool. And I'm not talking about a cheap recolor. I'm talking about like actual design difference. And leading from that idea of redesigning, making new armor for different species, how about we also add Banished specific ranks? Instead of following the conventional ranking system Halo has had, how about we add upon that and add Banished specific ranks? This could just lead into gimmick ranks too. I personally won't mind that. And like I said before, they could have a unique look. For example, there is concept art of a Banished skirmisher, having that like a boss like people thought. How about just make that a Banished rank? I think that would be really cool. So basically the idea is having more unique ranks like the Grunt Mule and the Berserking Brutes. Number 2, the presence the Banished supposedly have. This mainly ties into the story because I failed to mention that Aatrox is still alive, so hopefully they can bring him back and make him threatening again, and not the kind of threatening where you introduce him as a badass and then he doesn't show up ever again to the very end. My 2 examples of this is the Didact and Escharum. Don't be like that, please. And also give it some in-game storytelling. Remember in Halo 3, there were scripted animations that the brutes would do to the Marines to show the brutality, pun intended, of the brutes. And they can really escalate that with the Banished. They could have other species doing this too. I want that back because I think it'll be much needed to show the threat brutes have still. And they could expand that to other species too, considering that most of the time when we hear about other species joining the Banished, they're also really fucking aggressive too, and unhinged. And the weapons they use, I want to see more brute-specific weapons. I want to see more Banished weapons, and not like plasma weapons that has been modified to look like the Banished. And if you think about it, in multiplayer, you can just have different versions. You can have 2 versions of the same gun. For example, brute plasma rifle and the regular plasma rifle. Of course, with weapons being mentioned, I want to see some from Halo Wars 2 and Awakening the Nightmare cutscene. There was a melee weapon, brute melee weapon with 2 spikes on the end, and I think that would be so cool to use. I really would like to see something like that come in. And also in the same cinematic, you can see that there was a different kind of spiker rifle there. So that would be more spiker weapons, please. And here's a cool idea I thought about with vehicles. In Halo Infinite, if you look around, you can see that the Banished are scavenging UNSC parts. It would be so cool if in Halo 7, you would see Banished UNSC vehicles, a Banished Scorpion, a Banished Warthog. Giving that in a Halo game would show that the Banished really are like the scavenger type, and of course add on to the storytelling of the Banished and the multiplayer. I don't really want to see Banished armor sets anymore. Like, we already have too much. It's already too much. However, they're going to do the next multiplayer and its customization. I do not want to see so much Banished theme armor sets. We got already a lot with Halo Infinite. They're milking it. It's obvious that they're milking the Banished with Spartan armor, and so the next one we don't really need it. I'm good without it. Like, we got our full in Halo Infinite, alright? So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm shocked and happy that you listened to the end. And of course, comment down your opinions down below, whether it's to add on any of the topics I've said or to just speak your own opinion. I do read every single paragraph or essays you people type down there. And if you haven't already, or if you're new, here's a video where I talk about why I don't really like the brutes. Now, before you get a little heated after me saying that, I'm pretty sure you need to watch the video to really understand what I mean. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.